to you all anyway. And of course, hi to all our Pashley children that are in school, in their classrooms joining in. So it's kind of like we're all joining in together today. So the story I've got to read you, as I said, is one of my absolute tip-top favourites. It's called Splash, and it's by an author called Jane Hissey, and she writes really great stories. And I just hope you're going to enjoy it as much as I do. And look, here's one of my most favourite characters at the beginning of the book. It's Little Bear. Perhaps you've read some of the other Jane Hissey stories. He features in a lot of her books because he's really quite funny. So this story is all about going to the beach, which I thought lots of us might have been doing at the moment, and so it might make a really good choice. And it begins like this. I'll try and get it in the... There, that's it. We're in. Old Bear and the other toys were having a lovely day at the seaside. Little Bear, here he is, look, he's got his spade and he's got his ball. He'd never seen the sea before. It's bigger than the biggest bath, he cried as he chased his new beach ball in and out of the waves. And I'll never run out of sand, even if I build 100 sandcastles. I'm going to show you this beautiful illustration here with all the toys. Look how beautifully they've been drawn. So we've got rabbit and giraffe, old bear, duck, and Brownmore Brown doing a bit of sunbathing there. Little Bear left his beach ball and began to dig with his spade. Rabbit soon joined him. What are we making? Asked Rabbit from the bottom of the hole. Well, it was meant to be a sandcastle, said Little Bear, but it seems to be going down instead of up. It could be a boat, said Sailor. They patted down the sides of the hole and found a plank of wood to make a seat. Jolly Tall fetched a long piece of driftwood for a mast. I wonder if you've dug a hole at the beach like that. Goodness me, it would take a long time, wouldn't it? Wow. What a lovely boat, said Brownmore Brown, as he brought them his red towel to use as a sail. Oh. And it really moves, said Little Bear. It can't really move, said Duck. It's made of sand. Well, it's much nearer the sea than when we started, said Little Bear. It's not the boat that's moving, explained Sailor. It's the sea. The tide has come in. It goes in and out every day to wash the beach clean. And perhaps you've seen that on the beach. Perhaps you've been on the beach and noticed the water getting further away from you as the tide goes out. And what does it leave when the water goes further away from you? It leaves some little puddles. Inside you can find little creatures. I wonder what they might be called. Perhaps you could tell you're grown up. Little Bear suddenly remembered his new ball and ran to where he'd left it by the water. Oh no, he cried, the sea has taken my ball. Oh, before anyone could stop him, he jumped into his bucket and was heading out to sea. Do you think that's a good idea? I'm not so sure about that. Come back, shouted Old Bear. You can't go to sea in a bucket. It's all right, said Little Bear. I'll come back in a minute. Oh dear. Think he's going to be okay? Would you go to sea in a bucket? I'm not sure I would. Yeah, look, there he is. Oh, Mrs Ellis isn't very good at getting it in. There you go, look. The bucket bobbed up and down in the waves, and Little Bear bounced around inside it. He began to think that this wasn't such a good idea after all. He couldn't see the lost ball anywhere. Perhaps a shark has eaten it, he thought. Then he began to think. Perhaps a shark might eat him too. I'm coming back, he called. But when he tried to paddle, he just went round and round in circles. Oh, Old Bear was right, thought Little Bear. You can't go to sea in a bucket. You definitely can't go to sea in a bucket. Suddenly, there was a big gust of wind. The bucket wobbled wildly from side to side and then tipped right over. With a splash, Little Bear tumbled into the sea and the bucket, blub, 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 slowly sank beneath the waves. gasped Little Bear, clinging to his spade to stay afloat. Somebody help! I know some people who could be really good helpers because the year ones did a little leaflet all about beach safety. So if you know any year ones at Pashley, they'll be able to tell you how to stay safe. Hold on, Little Bear, called Sailor from the beach. We'll throw you a rope. Oh, look, just got to try and get it in. There he is, look, all the way out to sea. Poor old Little Bear. But at that moment, they saw a fluffy white face pop up out of the water in front of Little Bear. It was a small, furry creature wearing a string of seashells round its neck and the bucket on his head. Wonder if you can guess what kind of creature that is. Have a little look and see. I believe this is yours, it said to Little Bear. My bucket, spluttered Little Bear. Thank you, but who are you? Are you a shark? Not a shark, laughed the creature. I'm a seal. My name's Splash. Now quickly, climb on my back. We don't want you to sink like your bucket. Oh, that's a nice picture, isn't it? They're so beautifully drawn. Little Bear scrambled onto Splash's back and waved triumphantly to the others. They cheered when they saw that he was safe. What were you doing so far from the beach? Asked Splash. It was the wind's fault, explained Little Bear. It blew me out of my bucket. But you can't go to sea in a bucket, said Splash. Oh, I know that now, said Little Bear, and he explained how his new beach ball had been taken away by the tide. I'll probably never find it, he said sadly. Ah, I think I know where your ball is, said Splash. I'll show you. And there they are, look, jumping for joy. And there's Splash and Little Bear. With Little Bear clinging onto her seashell necklace, Splash swam swiftly through the waves. This is like a speedboat, cried Little Bear. We're going faster than the wind. They soon arrived at Rocky Ledge, and before Little Bear knew what was happening, they'd slipped through a curtain of seaweed and into a cave. What do you think they're going to find in there? Something really exciting, I hope. Little Bear stared in amazement. All around them were rows and rows of seaside things. There were sandals and spades, towels and toys, buckets, balls and boats. It's a treasure cave, gasped Little Bear. And there's my ball. How did it get in here? I rescued it, said Splash. I found all these things floating in the sea. The tide takes them from the beach, so I save them and bring them here. I'll just show you the cave because, look, it's really quite magical. There you go. I'd like to go in there, I think. Splash hopped over to Little Bear's ball and bounced it up and down to where he was waiting. Oh, thank you, cried Little Bear. But what will you do with all the other things? Oh, I play with them for a while, explained Splash. Then, when nobody's looking, I take them back to the beach. But aren't you sorry not to have them anymore? Asked Little Bear, balancing a pair of sunglasses on his nose and a straw hat on his head. Not really, laughed Splash. There's always more lost things to be rescued. And look, one of my favourite pictures in the book. Look how fancy Little Bear looks, all dressed up. Look at his shoes. He's got one sandal and one shoe on. I think he looks a real picture there, don't you? I'd like to stay here forever, said Little Bear. It's like a toy shop. But your friends will be worried about you, said Splash. I think you should go back to the beach. Clutching his things, Little Bear climbed onto Splash's back. Then together they slipped through the seaweed curtain and set off for the shore. Old Bear and the other toys were waiting anxiously on the beach. Little Bear couldn't wait to introduce his new friend. Thank you, Splash, said Bramwell. You saved Little Bear. It was a pleasure, said Splash. And it's been fun having someone new to play with. You must see Splash's treasure cave, said Little Bear. It's amazing. Another time, perhaps, said Old Bear. It's getting late and we really should be going home. Can Splash come and live with us? Cried Little Bear. I can make her a cave under my bed and she could swim in the bath. It does sound fun, said Old Bear, but Splash already has a home. She lives here by the sea. And who would return all the lost things if I wasn't here? Laughed Splash. But, she added kindly, I have something you can take home with you, Little Bear. Wonder what that's going to be. Oh, look, and she took off her seashell necklace and slipped it over Little Bear's head. There, she said, you can remember our seaside adventure every time you wear this, and come back soon, won't you? Oh, thank you, Splash, cried Little Bear. I will. And look, did you guess she was a seal? Sometimes if you go down to the harbour in Eastbourne, you might be lucky enough to see a seal. Now, Mrs Ellis has got a little challenge for you today. The lady, Jane Hissey, who writes these stories, writes about toys that she's got in her home. And if you visit her website, I'll just show it to you here, www.janehissey.co.uk, you can find out about all the characters in her stories and who they are. So Little Bear, for example, I looked up yesterday on the website, was actually a teddy that was given to her children. So on her website, she tells you all about the toys that she uses in her books and where the characters came from. So perhaps you might like to have a look at that. And the challenge from Mrs Ellis today is, I would really, really love to see some pictures drawn of your favourite toy. Just like Jane Hissey. It doesn't have to be a bear or a cuddly toy. It could be just a picture of your most favourite toy that you own. What I'd really like you to think about is using the right colours. So we always think about doing a nice big picture that fills the whole page if you can. And I'd like you to try and use all the right colours so that when I look at it, and I'll have a look under the post that I'm going to do in a minute, I'll be able to tell, hopefully, just what it is by the colours you've used. And I really look forward to seeing that, guys, and I hope you've enjoyed story time with me today. Have a great day, guys.